Hello everybody, welcome. Today I am going to do my fan game marathon submission. This is going to be for Holocure Save the Fans. Those of you who don't know anything about this game, it is basically a Vampire Survivors clone and a fan game of Hololive, sort of all in one. This game is on Steam for free, so awesome game, tons of fun, and cheaper than Vampire Survivors, which is already a very cheap game. So these are all the characters that you can play as. I believe there's over 30 some odd idols already. The ones with the blinking flash are graduated, but if they were programmed in the game, they're still in the game. So today I'm going to be doing an endless mode run, and we will see how long I can last. A thing to note is that as a Vampire Survivor clone, this game has meta progression, which means you unlock stuff that helps in your future runs. So I'm just going to quickly go into the shop and show you. I've got basically everything unlocked, and you might think that these are buffs, but they're sort of necessary for the higher difficulties. And you can always refund them and not have them, so you can always go back to square one if you want to. And this menu is the sort of debuffs, though sometimes weapon limits can be buffs because it gets you to the end game faster, but we'll not go too much into that right now. But I just wanted to show off the settings, basically, and all the items are unlocked. So yeah, that'll make a little bit more sense when I start playing. I was going to play today with Gargura, my favorite character. She's very strong and yeah, a joy to play with. You can get a bunch of different outfits for the characters. You can unlock them in the gacha. It's very cheap to do the gacha, and it's in-game currency all free. So yeah, I'm just gonna use the main outfit because that's the one I like the best, and we'll go to endless mode. So without further ado, let's actually get in here, and I can sort of explain more as I go. So this is the hardest stage. I'm not going to be doing that one because it's not very marathon safe. I'm going to do the second hardest stage because that is way safer. And I can get into that when we get it. So yeah, let's start. So when you get enough EXP to level up, some of the harder levels give you a lot right away. You get a level and you get to pick which weapon or item you want. So I'm going to re-roll because I do like them, but it's not what I want right away. If you see something you never want to take, you can eliminate it, and then you'll never get it again. You can also delete some of these as options, so you don't have to use your eliminates, but I find it more in the random aspect of the game to have them as options. So I'm going to take Raven Feather. So this gives me 6% attack every 30 seconds, I think, that I have it. And I got it at 0 seconds, so that's going to scale super well into the late game, and also the earlier you get it, the better. That's why I'm re-rolling early, is to get things that are time sensitive early. Just looking for... There's a couple things that give you more EXP, and I want to see if I can find them early. I didn't. That's fine. We're not going to be able to just mulligan for a super good start anyway, and in a live marathon, we're going to have to just take what we get. So I'll just take main weapon and oh yeah. So you see right there, I went really fast. Every character has a bunch of different abilities. Since I have unlocked, I think it's called Gachikoi fandom or Oshi fandom. I have all my abilities starting off, so I don't have to waste level ups on them. Take sake out of this. One of the things that I don't have rerolls left, so I have to take one of these. So even if I don't like any of them, it's sort of take a roll. That's one of the downsides to doing that strat of sort of forcing rerolls. Anyway, so we are trying to get... So a normal game goes to 20 minutes. Take one more main weapon. This is an anvil. You can upgrade items or enchant them. I'm going to actually save that for when I get a weapon to enchant it. I'm going to be trying to get enchanted weapons. Sometimes they come pre-enchanted. Oh, I forgot to explain. The fast movement is one of Gur's abilities. When she gets hit, she avoids the attack and can move really fast and is invincible for a little bit. That's why I explained that whole... Sorry, I'm a little nervous. Why I explained that whole ability thing. So, Gur is very, very tanky because if you haven't been hit in a while, you have basically a free hit to take, and then you can go really fast and run away. Blacksmith's Gear is another pretty good one to get early. So this will let me use anvils twice, which is very strong, and scales pretty well into the late game. When this meter fills up, I can activate my special. Gur's special... Ooh, Enchanted Potato. I like Enchanted Potato. Gur's special deals a bunch of damage and gives you better stats for a little bit, so I will be trying to use it as fast as I can. Well, as often as I can, but sometimes it's good to save it for a certain certain in-game event. So as the timer ticks up, certain things will happen pretty regularly. Like you can kind of memorize when they're going to happen, and sometimes, you know, on a super hard one, it might be worth it to save your special for, you know, time when a bunch of enemies surround you and you gotta, you know, fight your way out without very much space to dodge. All the attacks in this game are automated except for your special. So you basically just have to move and point where you're aiming. I'm gonna get rid of Piggy Bang. Oh yeah, Picky Pie Man, that's not great. Potato. And I'm avoiding these anvils because if I get the study glasses, which give you more EXP, I can just use the anvils to level it up faster and get even more EXP. But I sort of won't... If I use them now, it'll help me be stronger and survive, but if I save them, I can, like, use them better later, is I guess how I want to phrase that. And these boxes, you can just grab them because they will have a thing and you can take it or not take it. That ball's enchanted, so I don't mind taking it. It's another weapon. The ball's just going to drop randomly. So the lore of this game is these are your, like, Hololive fans. They're sort of the, like, fandom avatars, I guess. They've gone crazy or something and are attacking you. I don't really... There's like a mini cutscene in the start menu that explains it, and I don't really know. I kind of just like to see explosions and dodge stuff. This isn't really a bullet hell game. It has the tag, but it's a bullet hell like. There is Danmaku, there is some amount of dodging, but it is not exactly a bullet hell, but it's fun all the same. One of Gur's other abilities is these whirlpools. They spawn every once in a while, suck enemies into them, and then enemies in them take more damage. So a big part of what I might... Ooh. Up lava. A big part of what I'm trying to do, oh, that glowing EXP, oh, these triangles are EXP, that glowing one is a magnet, it takes all the EXP on the screen and just pulls it to you. So it's hard to miss EXP on this stage because it's so small. Any of this. So take Idle Song and use this to enchant it. Let's get a little extra crit damage on that. So I have, with Gorilla's Paw you lose crit percent, so I'm probably not really doing a ton of crit damage, so if I can re-enchant that to have a better special, I might. We'll just see how it goes. I'm still not sure what I'm doing with this other anvil. But yeah, I'm trying to get the enemies into the whirlpools and shoot them, because that's sort of more efficient. Holy Milk is pretty good. I'm gonna take that. It's not exactly what I want, and I'm kind of filling up all my weapon slots. Not bad. So these are the bosses. They're kind of big and they hit you way harder than the main enemies. That's one of the easiest ways to die, is to just not realize a boss is attacking you. All these are enchanted, but I don't really want any. Membership. Probably gonna take membership on a marathon run. Enemy Water doesn't work with anything I have, but it is enchanted, so probably worth grabbing. Problem is my weapons don't really work with it. So I'm gonna drop it. So let me explain what weapons working with that means. When you get weapons, you can level them up. When you get it to level 7, it's max. But if you have 2 level 7 weapons, you can make a collab if they're the right 2 weapons. So for instance, I've taken Potato and Idle Song. If I get both those to level 7, I can combine them to make Rap Dog, which will open up another weapon slot and it will make a better weapon. And among the weapons, among the collabs, there's a super collab that uses an item as well. So I'm aiming, Gorilla's Paw is one of the items for the super collab, so I'm sort of aiming to get that super collab because I've taken that item. And to do that, I need Asakoko, Plugin, and Fanbeam, neither of which I have. Which is fine, because I will open up more weapon slots later, but if I take the whammy water there, it kind of forces me to make at least 2 collabs before I can even get the spots to work on my super collab. And if you don't get your super collab, that's another way to sort of fall behind in the damage race. Because, you know, it's one of the stronger weapons you can have is the super collab, and if you kind of can't get it till, you know, the 25-minute mark, you might just die before then. So I'm sort of like, even though it was a good weapon for free that I got in that box, I just like couldn't take it without it being bad later on. So, okay. A thing I should note, Holu is one of the items that makes the game harder. The enemies become stronger, but you gain more coins for them, and you get more enemies. Holu can actually be good if you get it early enough, because more enemies means more EXP, which means more levels. But on the harder stages, it is very dangerous to take it, and definitely not going to do it in marathon unless I'm, you know, a lot better at this game than I am now. It's just a good way to set yourself up for disappointment later. So this is one of the stage events. All these chicken enemies show up. I don't actually know what they're called. These event enemies are sometimes... So here's study glasses. 6 minutes in's a little late. But I do have this double anvil, so I think it's worth it. This is going to force me... Now I have to use Gorilla Paw, because I can't... I don't have any weapon slots besides it. But that's fine. Gorilla Paw is a pretty good super collab. So I didn't mention this. Study glasses, now we're full level on study glasses, so we're just gonna level up faster. Books. This is another thing, it's like a fine weapon, but it doesn't really work with what I have, so I'm just gonna drop it. I really need to find... I'm gonna eliminate that, because I don't actually want it. So this is a stamp. This stamp... They all have different effects. This one will stun enemies and get rid of projectiles. That's a pretty good one. Might not be the best one, but the other one makes my main weapon work, but makes me go faster, which is not really what I want. I want to kill things. It can be good later on. There's like a strat where you just sort of run away and let the, let your random attacks kill the enemies as they do. But I'm gonna be trying to just deal damage and kill things, because you don't level up if you don't kill things and harvest their EXP. But so after the main game, there's like 20 minutes of the main game, and the reason why I'm doing Endless is it is exactly the same as the main game, but when you beat the boss normally in the main game, it just ends it and kicks you out, whereas this will let me keep playing. It's just like a little bit more content. Hopefully we can get to the Yagyu spam. Eventually they spawn a bunch of bosses that are way harder than the main bosses, and that's kind of just all that's there is just Yagyus. Yagyu is the CEO of Hololive. Yagyu's hopes and dreams, etc. Sausage is not what I want. Some of the weapons are way worse than others, so I kind of try to avoid them. So yeah, we're sort of trying to build for the super late game. We're just, hopefully surviving till then. But we're getting hit by enemies, but it doesn't really matter because we're pretty strong. But there will come a time where the enemies get stronger and are more dangerous, and there's more bosses and more stage events. Sometimes with the stage event, so the enemies that spawn during the stage events go away. So sometimes you can get a little bit more EXP by killing the stage event enemies before they go away, because they will drop EXP drops. But sometimes the stage event and the stage event enemies are usually... I'm gonna take this fan beam, even though it's not enchanted, because I kind of need it for my collab. So yeah, sometimes you just sort of waste a bunch of shots on those stage event enemies, and it doesn't even kill them, and you don't get EXP. So you have to sort of know a little bit of how they go. To know which ones you can kill. Which ones are worth killing, I guess. Once I finish this collab, I'll get Rapdog. Rapdog is one of the better late game. Just killing damaging lots of enemies really fast. So this is a stage event. All these spawn and start shooting bullet hell at you. Danmaku, I guess. Not really bullet hell. For those of you who don't know what Rapdog means, so all the items and weapons and such are basically Hololive in-jokes references. So one of the weapons is Potato, and the other is Idle Song. Potato is a Coronet reference, I believe. I am Potato. And sometimes Coronet raps, and she is the rap dog. So you combine them, you get a collab rap dog. And it just sort of does what the Potato does, which is bounce around randomly hitting enemies, but it's stronger and better. So the final boss spawns at the 20-minute mark. The estimate's a little longer because I do spend a little bit of time in these menus. There is a achievement for just picking the first item and just like not just, you know, whatever it gives you, you take. Just like always picking this top one. I'm not going to do that because while it is like interesting to play, it's probably not as interesting to watch. Okay, so this is, I mentioned the late game, this attack up. When you fill up all your weapon slots and item slots and there's really nothing else for it to give you, it'll give you stuff like that, which is like attack up, haste up. Oh, this is the halfway boss, by the way. So those are very strong, and that's why people limit their item slots, is because they get those faster. I think it's more interesting with more item slots, but it's probably... I don't really follow meta, but it's probably meta correct. There's that Chuba Duck thing, this is Hachama Spider thing. Doing pretty well there. Those both went down 30 seconds, that's pretty good. I'm gonna start taking anvils. Okay, so this is a triple box, so I'll take all these. And this is a fan letter. These only show up every once in a while. Oh, that was the boss fan letter. That's rare. Glad I got that. So that's another part of the meta progression, is that will sort of just like affect every time I play. So it's just like the more you play, the like easier it gets because you get more stuff like that. But this is not the type of game where, well, first off, the higher levels aren't unlocked, but even if they were, they're just like, they're literally impossible if you don't have some amount of meta progression. It's sort of gated that way. But it is expected that you have them. This stamp just flips you upside down. There's no other effect. It used to, in a previous patch, make you shoot backwards, just your main weapon. The stamps basically only affect your main weapon. There's a couple exceptions, but I kind of don't like this stamp, so I'm just gonna remove it. And you can use stamps to strengthen other stamps, but I kind of like the pacifist stamp I have is fine, but there's better stamps I can get, so I'm kind of just leaving that there in case a better stamp shows up. So this will be my last idle song, and you can finally see the gold anvil will appear, and I can combine these. So if you notice, these are both enchanted with crit damage. Oh, that's not even good. But it might be worth. So now when I combine them, it'll have both of their enchants. If I only had one of those enchanted, I couldn't now retroactively add another enchant. You can only put one enchant on a weapon, but if they're both enchanted when you collab it, it will keep both of the enchants. So it might have actually been worth re-enchanting those for a slightly better bonus. It's like I'm kind of hoping Rapdog will do a bunch of damage for me. Okay, Asakoko is the next item I need, but yeah, I don't know. Enchantments, anvils don't grow on trees. You need to use an anvil to enchant something, so... And I can always just work on my crit percentage later. So you might have noticed that there's different enemies now than there were before. There are a bunch of knights and spiders and stuff like that for some of the Japanese generations, but now there's deadbeats and shrimps and takodachis. And you might know this background music as Myth or Treat. So that is this might be a little spoiler for what's to come, but put that in the back of your mind. One thing to note about those boxes, too, is like, I've been told there's a 10% chance that there's a super item in them. It does not seem that likely, but every once in a while you get a super item. So like, it'll be like super study glasses, and it will give you more EXP than, you know, a level 5, and you don't have to level it up anymore. So if you have 0 study glasses and get a super study glasses, it'll save you 5 levels of progression. Like you can put those levels towards other things. So it's very helpful to get one early on, but just anytime you get one, you're ecstatic, because it's like a very good. It's just better than most other items. Sometimes you can ignore them because it just doesn't work with your build. So like the gorilla grip thing I have reduces your crit percent, and some characters really need crit. Like their abilities only work when you crit. So it's like you kind of can't use that item with those characters. Oh, the stamp. Alright, so this will make stamps appear more often, and if I put a stamp into it, it works more. So we're 13 minutes in, and there's a good chance we actually see all this. That's like our 4th stamp. So there's 22 stamps. We might actually see all of them by the time we get to the 20-minute mark, because the stamp is so good at just making stamps show up. I could boost my crit now, but let's just work on our super collab, because I'll feel a lot safer once the super collab's in place. Ooh, that's a good one to keep. I kind of want to throw it into the stamp. So I'm doing this run right now as Gargura. During the marathon, I would be fine letting it be like a poll, or like, I know you guys don't do like donations, but like a donation incentive type thing to like pick which character. I would be pretty fine with that, even if it's like, I'll pick like 5 to vote on or whatever, so I can make sure I'm practiced with all of them. Though it's much easier for the submission to just say, I'm gonna do it with Gura. But I would be fine letting it be up to votes. Right, so this is another golden anvil. Oh, and I'm level 51. So I'm gonna get this collab, and when you have the right collab over level 50 and the right item, you'll get the option for a super collab. See this stick? That's like a hammer part. I'm gonna take cutting board because it works with ball. So that's the hammer. So now that I have the hammer, I'll get the anvil again, and it will let me super collab. So damage and size, holy fire. So now I have this giant stream of fire, and it's very strong. And I could, like I said, I'm doing the endless mode to put more content. It'd be much more predictable time-wise if I just did like the regular 20-minute game. So if that's, you know, what you want me to do at the marathon, I can just restrict it to the 20-minute normal game. I mean, I can just do endless and end once I beat the final boss. It's not a big deal. Whatever works. The endless is sort of an endurance thing where it's like it goes as long as I can go, which, you know, much more interesting, but much less good for timed events that have to stay on schedule. Though I could just show off some of the other stuff. So Beetle's not the worst with Gura. It's not the best item. I think I'm gonna hold out on my last... I thought I got rid of Piggy Bank. Oh, and one of my weapons is Cutting Board. So certain characters get a buff, like their Cutting Board is bigger than others. Gur is one of those characters. It's sort of like a little in-joke. The bouncy ball gets a different kind of buff for different kind of characters. And sort of a nice little, I guess, in-joke, is that the right word? Ooh. Super Idol costume. I did say I like super things. I'll take that. There's a super collab with wall, cutting board, and wall. It's called the Great Wall of Hololive. So it's no matter which character you have, whether they get the buff or not, you can just take them both, and it ends up being a super collab, which is nice from a game design perspective, at least. So I'm gonna use this. That stamp gives you more damage, which is not bad, but I think there's better. Oh, I could have just had this the whole time, even if I wasn't gonna. I could have just like used it. Whatever, we're doing fine. Now that I have the stamp maxed, we're gonna. It's like a plus 3% extra stamp drop or whatever, but it adds up so fast. I'm gonna actually take the crit here. Also, it looked like my crit percent is back to normal. So the Gorilla Paw, sometimes some of the weapons or items when you use them in your super collab, it like gets rid of them or parts of them. I'm pretty sure that's what's happened there, is we got our crit back because we used our Gorilla Grip. So that Super Idol costume means this bar that fills up faster, and I get to use it twice in a row, basically. So I'm basically just going to be spamming my special attack. I just get it so much. See how I'm just melting the enemies? that is what all these weapons are doing. I will say this game can be a little flashing lights intensive. There's a lot of stuff going on, and sort of towards the end it kind of sometimes can be tough to to look at and understand what's going on. Yeah, if you have, probably should have said this way earlier. If you have sensitivities to flashing lights and lots of stuff like that, might be a thing to be aware of while watching this game. I don't think it's that bad, but I also don't have to worry about that, so I don't want to speak for people who do have to worry about that. Alright, see, I'm getting cheeseburgers and money in the options. It's because it's running out of stuff to give me, so we're approaching the late game. So this stamp is very strong. It's the rock hard stamp, I believe, yeah. So if I stand still, it makes my weapons attack faster. The big problem with that is the harder parts, like if a boss is coming at you and you have to move, then you don't get any buff from it, and you can't just tank the boss. The bosses just hit way too hard. There are certain builds that you can get, like, you know, 1,000 HP and a ton of defense and actually tank bosses that way, but that's not the build that I'm on. Alright, a thing that this anvil does is, so when my weapon is fully maxed out, that's sort of why I save the anvils besides enchanting. Like once I'm done enchanting, I can use it for this. I can upgrade the weapon. So it'll deal, 3 more damage. And there's a % chance that it doesn't work. But it's like the first one is like 115% chance to work. It always works, then it goes down a little bit each time. So the first couple are just guaranteed to be extra damage. So it's not like the anvils ever run out of usefulness, though they do get less likely to be helpful as the game goes on. See, here's all those stamps I was talking about. And you can upgrade your main weapon too. You can't enchant your main weapon. The enchants are definitely worth doing. All that. Okay, so here's the 20-minute mark. The boss is coming. So here they are. Holo En. Let me just enchant. This is very dangerous, getting close to the enemies just to grab this anvil, because these bosses are very strong. My main strat with them is to just sort of run away and, like, Kiara's usually the fastest and will, like, run into you. But you sort of just run away from whoever you can, and I think Gura, like, teleports behind you. I'm just trying to survive and kill them one at a time. I think they're all... most of them are dead. I thought that would be a bit more involved, but we're kind of pretty strong right now. One of them might still be alive. Sometimes it's not super obvious when one is alive. Very quiet, so I think they're dead. But I do want to make sure I explore this whole place and get their drops. So, yeah, this is where the game would end if I was just doing the regular mode. It's just, here's the boss. This is the great absolute wall. Yeah. Why does it say absolute wall and then great wall? This actually has a chance to stop projectiles from hitting you. Would have been nice to have for the boss, because that's one way you die really fast is a boss just hits you with a face full of bullets. Yeah, that from here on out, the enemies will get tougher, and then eventually it'll be a Yagu boss rush. So we're just kind of trying to survive till then. Make sure we're grabbing this EXP and leveling up. Like I said, one strategy is to just run away, but if you're not killing enemies and not grabbing EXP, you're risking that the game kind of outpaces you and you can't kill anything anymore, and then eventually, like, the Yagus are very fast. These enemies I can run away from, but the Yagus, there's just so many and they're everywhere. Like you'll notice when it just kind of kicks into gear. I'm pretty sure Axe works with Lava Bucket. Let me just double check. Yes. I have a graphic that I made, and I use it all the time just to make sure I'm building collabs right. Though there is actually a strategy to get items that don't collab. That way you get more of the, late game percentage buffs sooner. So if I was going to do that, I would just delete those items. like delete the item slots, so I wouldn't have to worry about it. I would just have it designed to do that. So I believe that is the meta tactic for like super high score runs. I don't really follow, but I've heard people say like the meta is you like only give yourself 2 item slots. That way you can get a super collab, and then the rest just goes to, you know, dealing more damage. Alright, so here's Gambaritsus, and I really know all their names. The bats. I'm sort of not a super big Hololive fan, I will admit. I'm sort of like a fake fan. I like know a couple of them, but I'm more of like a clip watcher, karaoke playlist listener than a diehard or anything. But you don't really need to be a Hololive fan to enjoy this game. It's just like a good game on its own. Like, it's probably better than Vampire Survivor, which I've never played, but I'm comfortable saying that, even though it's kind of hipstery. Like, oh, it's better than that game everyone else knows, you know? I don't know if that's true, but I'm fine saying that. Because it's free, and now that I was told that in original Vampire Survivor there's no like bosses or bullets, it's just like all the enemies come at you at the same speed. So in this there's like actual bosses and bullets and things to make it more interesting. Then again, like I said, I've never played the game, so I probably shouldn't judge it too hard. Alright, so here we see it's kind of picking up. Enemies are getting thicker at the 25-minute mark. I guess I can talk about some of these stamps. This ghost is haste up, so it makes all your weapons shoot. Well, it makes your main weapon shoot faster. The greed stamp makes more coins appear. The trumpet. I'll do the trumpet. Trumpet makes trumpet noises, nothing else. RGB will make a pretty rainbow effect. You can't really see it at this point in the game. But if I strengthen the trumpet, I get more trumpet noises. Trumpet's a pretty fun one. Flower stamp reduces... I kind of like flower in that... So reducing enemy stats lets your other weapons deal more damage, basically. It's one of the few ways to make your stamp affect your other weapons. It just, you know, inadvertently does it. This is the extra crit percent. Some characters have really weak main weapons that you like don't want to invest in. Like most characters' main weapon is actually very strong, and you want to level it up super fast. Certain characters, like say Pecora, her main weapon's not great, so you like basically totally ignore that, and you want your stamps to affect your other weapons if you can. I'm gonna switch off the trumpet, and you can sell these for money. It doesn't help in-game, it helps later in your menu. Just don't want to hear the trumpet. The trumpet's fun for a little bit. So yeah, sometimes which stamps you want is dependent on which character you have, and which items you have. It's like one of the fun parts about this game is that you get different RNG every time, different weapons in different orders, different items. So sometimes you're like, oh, let's try a crit build, or let's try a no crit build, or oh, my character's special's awesome, so I don't want. There's like an item that gives you more crit but makes your special slower, and it's used for a super collab. So some characters like really want to keep using their special, so you kind of don't want that super collab with that character because you kind of lose out on special equity because you get fewer specials. So like this, and you know, sometimes the item can be just good enough that you don't care, or the weapon good enough that you don't care, but you try to build for synergies as much as you can. So you know, depending on who you have, different things are different priorities. Alright, so our last weapon, we have to take one of these. So I'm going to take Curse. Curse and Whammy Water are the two that I like the best as your final weapon, so I don't have enough slots left to make another collab, so this weapon's just going to be this weapon. Curse hits enemies and then has a chance of like infecting adjacent enemies, like if they're touching, so a giant mob of enemies as we're going to start facing has a chance to just infect them all at once and deal a ton of damage. Especially with like super high crit rate. You can just see a whole cloud of enemies just go up in smoke with Curse. So it's one of the better just solo weapons. And Whammy Water has knockback. So it's like another fine one to just like keep enemies away from you. About to hit the 30-minute mark. That's when the Yagus will show up, and I might just immediately die. I don't play a ton of endless mode. A big part of this game is one of the achievements is to level up all your characters. Which means you have to play a bunch with every character, which means you have to play the main game a lot. So like this one, 30 some odd characters at least now. And I have to clear a 20-minute stage, which takes about 30 minutes real time with menuing and thinking. So there's just like a lot of content to get through. Doesn't leave a ton for leveling, for going for high scores and whatnot in Endless, but when I, eventually clear all that I need to clear, there's, a bottomless pit of how high can I make the timer go on Endless. I've done a couple runs, and I basically died as shortly after the Yagus show up. Here's the Yagus. Eventually you'll get golden Yagus. Okay, see like how I was batting off all the enemies before, now they're kind of gaining on me. They do drop more EXP, but still, you still gotta... I'm actually gonna sell this greed stamp, because all it does is give you more money, which is good if you're going for high scores, but I'm just trying to show you all the game. I don't like how all those stamps are in the center, it just means I'm gonna hit them more often. Because I want to stay somewhat towards the center. Like, you do need to keep moving a bit, but I haven't seen an anvil in a while, that's kind of annoying. You do need to keep moving a bit to make sure you're grabbing Like if you kill an enemy far away from where you are, which sometimes you do with Rapdog, often you do, you do the EXP does go away eventually. So you do need to make sure you're running around and grabbing it. Look at how many there are. There were, in previous patches, there were builds that could sort of live forever. There was an Ina build that was basically immortal. Like, people couldn't... The run ends when you die. And there were people that had builds that couldn't end their run. They just couldn't die. That's been patched. This whole game is made by a solo dev, KU, I believe. And he plans to make, I believe, up to 81 characters he said he wants to make. And no promises after that, but like for a free game that, you know, refuses to take any money for, no donations, nothing, that is a crazy amount of content. Shoutouts to KU making this awesome game. But yeah, there's whole ton of game here. Yeah, KU is just trying to kill you at this point. Like, the game just kind of has to end at some point, and you realistically can't like keep up forever. Some of the runs on the leaderboard get pretty high up, like over 40 minutes. That's like really good. It's worth noting that I don't have a support item on right now. There's an item you can get. So after this, or in between games, I guess, there's a like farming simulator called Hollow House, where you can get, you know, you can fish and grow plants and work on crafting. So there's a ton of, you know, other non-bullet hell stuff you can do if you're into that thing. There's like food you can make and armor you can build that will help you in this. I just haven't really used it. I probably will use it. Oh, finally an anvil. Oh my goodness. I haven't seen one in forever. Anvils show up kind of randomly, so I feel like I'm not getting a ton of anvils, because like I haven't even upgraded all my things fully. Like the point of this blacksmith's gear is it makes anvils better, so when I'm, you know, all my weapons are as strong as they can be, I can make them stronger a little bit with the anvils. I just haven't seen enough. So I feel like I've gotten a little unlucky with anvil RNG. I could try showing this off. This could be very dangerous. So if I stand... yeah, there's no way I can stand still. But yeah, if you stand still long enough, that eventually kicks in and is good. But that's why I don't like this. Like, if you're ahead in the damage race, then yeah, it just lets you melt everything. But if you ever fall behind, you just die. There's a time trial mode, and I believe in the... I don't know if it's in the current patch, but there was a patch where basically gave everyone that stamp at the beginning for free because time trials basically everyone who did well had that stamp, and people just like were setting for it for an early drop. So it's like, okay, everyone has the stamp, and I'll maybe fix it in the next patch. So maybe that's happened. I don't know. It's been a couple patches, but sometimes they're just to add the shines for people graduating. R.I.P. R.I.P. Guru, Mume, and Shion were got their glimmer in the last patch. Oh, I have a revive. This thing I took at the beginning, the Raven Feather, gives me a revive. It also gives me what's it called? It gave me attack, but now that I've revived, I don't have the attack bonus, so I'm gonna be super weak. Just gonna sell these things, just so I'm probably just gonna die, but the more I run into them, the more time I have to waste. Oh, and I got killed. So 35 minutes is about what I expect for an endless mode run. So yeah. New all-time best. I'll submit my high score. 54th. That ain't bad. Ain't bad, honestly. For no support item, 54th. So yeah, that has been Holocure Endless Mode. Like I said, I wouldn't be opposed to changing the parameters of this submission to, you know, just a regular run up to 20 minutes, or I can do endless and then stop once I beat the boss. But I think this is the most interesting, and I also wouldn't be opposed to picking a different character. So yeah, let's go. I'll show off Hollow House for a little bit. Maybe if I have a little bit of extra time, if I do endless and, you know, die at 30 instead of 35, I can show this off. But here you can plant stuff, here you can fish, here's where you cook your food for your support items. These workers give you money. There's a ton of stuff to buy. I don't even have all the like buffs yet. This is always more. You can harvest wood and rocks. There's a Jump King game over here. I'm not gonna play it because, you know, I don't really know how to play this game yet. I will have to learn it for all the achievements, but there's just a whole tower there. And then there's also the casino. So you can play blackjack or slots, and it's like races in a math game. Your difficulty is the easiest, endless is the hardest. There's math questions, and you gotta solve them. And 99 plus 99 minus 1 by 7. 99 divided by... I don't know this. Unless the order of operations is different than I think it is. 1 divided by 7, just like there wouldn't be a integer. Oh, this is the parenthesis. I'm losing my mind. Anyway, I'm not here to do math. I tried. I have a bachelor's in math, but I'm not good at math fast on the fly. So yeah. But anyway, don't know how much of this we'll ever see, but here it is. Here's all the stuff in the game. There's, you know, more being added all the time. So yeah, this has been Holocure. Thanks for watching, and yeah, hope you enjoyed. Also, the game's free. Get it on Steam. It's worth worth any amount of time you put into it. Alright, thanks for watching.